Hello and welcome back to Casidur. My name is KB and this is my contribution to Nick the Booksmith's Deserted Ireland Journal Challenge. As you can see, I created a little notebook. But how did it all come about? So there we are, stranded on a deserted Ireland with a fanny pack, a waterproof fanny pack with 8 craft items. 4 of those were given and the other 4 we could choose ourselves. So the first of the given items is paper. In my case, it is tea stain paper and I still have quite a goodly amount left. The second item is glue. I choose PVA bond. And do not ask me why I did not take Aleen's, why I did not take Fabri-Tac, and why I did not take Mod Podge. In hindsight, which is always 2020, I should have used Mod Podge because then I could have sealed the outside of my little journal as well. But as it stands, PVA glue it was. The third item is needle and thread. And I chose a polyester thread. It's a bit thicker. It's like upholstery thread, I think. The fourth and last of the given items were scissors. But strangely enough, they never materialized in my fanny pack. What I got was a steel ruler. So those are my 4 items. Those were the given items. The 4 items I chose. The first one is my trusted, and I can never live without, distressed ink in vintage photo with a dauber. Then I chose another one in Victorian velvet. But that still was not enough for me. And I chose golden acrylic paint from cheap metallic paint from a local supermarket, Tesco in this case. So those are my 3 chosen items. And the fourth one is a media stencil by Stamperia. And I chose that stencil because it has so many single designs which I could use for the decoration of my pages. So these are my 8 items. And as you saw, I made a little writing journal. So first, since I didn't have scissors, I tore the pages with my steel ruler. Very handy. You also might gasp now, since I didn't use fabrics, I didn't use scrapbook paper, and I didn't use any hardboard, chipboard, or book covers. All that I used in my little notebook writing journals are the papers, my tea stain papers. So for the cover, the front and the back cover, which comes in 2 pieces. So for the front cover, and the back, I used 2 A4 sheets, which I folded in half and glued every single layer separately. And for the spine, I used 1 A4 sheet, which I folded 4 times and then glued every single layer and then folded in half so I can stitch my my pages into it. Then I use the combination of the vintage photo and the Victorian velvet, which go, by the way, beautifully together, to heavily stain the spine and the outside of, or the margins of my pages. And last but not least, I use some metallic paint and my finger to kind of stain not only the spine, but also the edges of the pages. And I wish the camera would pick that up, but I don't think. Oh, here you can see it a little bit. But in Natura, it's gorgeous. It is just, you know, it's just enough that the gold hits your eye now and then without being kind of overwhelmed by it. However, although I love the gold, I'm on a gold trip at the moment. Maybe it has something to do with Christmas. The most versatile item of in the construction of my journal was the humble sewing needle. So not only did I use that for piercing the holes, stitch in the pages, stitch in the pages, but I used the eye of the needle, dipped that in my gold paint, and used that for write the letters. But then I also used it for piercing or punching a design, and I chose two different designs. One is kind of a 4 dot, and the other is a simple zigzag. So yeah, the needle, invaluable. Not only that, before I forget it, the pages, after I glued them together for the front and the back cover, were approximately 1/2 inch too long. So what I had to do, I had to use a steel ruler and my needle, and I scored as often as I had to do it to create a real, it cut it in the end. The needle in the end scored and cut it. So I was able then just to fold it back. And as you can see, it came out actually really nice, because I wasn't able to tear the back or the front cover after I glued the 4 layers together. It wasn't possible. So I used the stencil then on every other page, and as you can see, every single page has a slightly different design. This was always thought to become a writing journal. So it doesn't have any pockets, it doesn't have any tags or tabs or whatever. It is simply a writing journal. And I have to say, I'm not going through now, but here you just get an idea. I have to say I'm absolutely in love with it. I so adore that thing. And I tell you what, Nick, thank you very much, because without that challenge, I would have never discovered how versatile a sewing needle is. So thanks again, Nick, and thank you very much for watching. Bye.